Welcome everyone, TheDailyWoo here. As the recording of this, it is Tuesday, July 2nd, 2024. Announcement time, announcement. I am filming on a all-new camera, one that I have never used before. I'm not familiar with at all. The Canon G7X that I have been using for many, many years, with rare exceptions of me using anything else, like maybe a GoPro once or twice, my phone once or twice. But most of the time over the last few years has been the Canon G7X Mark II. The Mark III had even worse problems when it came to focusing than the Mark II. So I never upgraded to the 3, even though the 3 was able to connect a microphone to. Now the camera that I have now, at some point, if I feel like it, if the mood hits me, I can connect a microphone to this one and have one of the little lapel mics. Also, I'm holding two items in my hand. One of them I just described as the camera, but also I have received, oh yes, this guy right here is a renewed passport holder. So two announcements. I now have a passport and I have the new camera. Well, new to me. I will also say the first person I've ever seen anyone that is in my circle of friends or people that I know or just seen anywhere out and about, all of those, covering all that area. First person I saw use it was my good friend, the Philly Captain, was the first person, so I'll give a shout out to him. He was ahead of the curve, if you will. Now, I don't know if he particularly used the DJI Osmo 3. This is the 3, Pocket 3. I'm not sure if he has a passport or not, but let me put this here. It's very light, and this is what it looks like. He was the first one to use this when him and I started hanging out a couple years ago, and I was like, what is that awkward looking, toothbrush, like electric toothbrush thing you're holding? And he goes, I don't know, it works for me. And since then, in the last year or so, or actually in the last probably 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 months, that's a wide range. I don't know why I'm giving that exact time frame, but I have seen a lot of people have switched over from what they were using and started using what I am now starting to utilize. So it's becoming kind of like the vlogger camera in a lot of ways. Now there are other cameras that people are using, but I would say I have never seen a shift quite for everyone using something, kind of like how the Canon G7X Mark II was a few years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, up until about a year ago. Now everyone's kind of getting this. And I am testing this out today. Today is a test day. Now it will be an uploaded vlog, but I'm here to announce that I have a new camera, and I also have a passport. I'm going to talk about some of my plans for next year. 2025 is going to be way different than anything I have ever done. I'm going to start going to places that I have never been, countries that I have never stood in, and it's going to be fun. I'm inviting you to join me for the rest of the day. Got to run some errands, got to head down 192, got to go to Target and get a few things, which is, a few miles down, and I figured the best way to do something like that when I'm out and about is test out a new camera. So join me. Good to have you here. Shall you? Now, I know there's going to be some issues with the camera. I do not have any sort of a wind muff on it at all. The other camera that I was using had a little wind thing on the top of it, so the wind might be an issue. Again, at some point I might do the lapel mic type of thing, but for now I'm just going to go in as is. The first thing I'm already seeing is it not wanting to focus on what I'm showing. So it's got a little bit of a gimbal. So the gimbal is kind of a wacky, it's not wanting to focus on this. See, it's like I have that up there, which is kind of way high, and then I go down with it. There it goes. So that's going to take some getting used to. But this is the Osmo Pocket 3. It comes with a charger that charges in the wall. It comes with, I had to purchase a mini SD card that I had delivered also. And I've also ordered, which should be here tomorrow, an extra battery that connects to the bottom of this, which extends it down. There's something they call a creator kit. I opted not to get the creator kit because this was scheduled to arrive quicker, so I went with this. But I have since ordered part of the creator kit, and I've ordered an external battery that plugs on the bottom to give me a little more battery life. I'm kind of curious to see how this works out in continuation with what I have been using. But yeah, I'm already having some, I don't want to say issues, but I'm already having a learning curve when it comes to using this gimbal. And basically I can turn it around on me without, like on a phone, you gotta like hit the little button that switches around. This has a button that'll automatically switch it around, so watch this. Flip it around. Hello! No edit there. There was no edit in that particular moment. There will be edits in this video, but not in that video, how it just went around. Let me flip it back around, right into the sound effect. Look at that. Just like that, I press a little button, it flips around, and then okay, I'm pressing, it's not working. I'm trying to do the sound effect. Dang. There it goes. There might be some issues with this, but the thing I really love about this so far, what I can see, no focusing issues at all. With the Canon G7X, all focusing issues. Now I know if you're familiar with the vlogs in the last few years, you're like, oh man, there's a couple clips here and there that are kind of out of focus. That is like 8% of what actually made it in the video that I was able to use that didn't go completely out of focus. And that also is me stopping it, turning the camera off and on, this is the old camera, and then restarting it, tapping the screen a bunch of times to keep it in focus. So far, I have not tapped the screen one time to keep this thing in focus, so I'm pretty happy so far with the focus issue. Talking to my friend Jacob, the carpetbagger, earlier, he got this camera, I don't know, a month or two ago. We were discussing how I just wish they would make a freaking perfect vlogging camera. Make a camera that has everything correct on it. It seems like with every camera that's out there, 9 of the 10 featured things that you want to work right, 9 of them work okay. 1 of them works horribly, and it's never the same thing on all those cameras that work horribly. The G7X has great sound, great low light. Also, I heard the low light on this is really good, but the focus is garbage. On this, I'm hearing there's not really a zoom. Now there is a zoom, but it's called a optical zoom, or no, a digital zoom, not an optical zoom, which means as soon as I start zooming in, it's going to be very, very grainy. Let me flip this around. Let me flip this around. Yeah, see, it's already an issue trying to tap this around. See, there it goes. So I'm tapping this around. Let me see if I can, I don't even know how to do the zoom. Hold on a second. I think I've watched Philly Captain do this. Nope, up. That says gimbal lock disabled. How do I zoom in? Gimbal lock disabled. I don't know how to zoom in on this. Maybe it doesn't have any zoom. Huh. All right, well, the gimbal went up. Okay, that's kind of cool. I can hold it and then I'm not even angling up like I would with another camera. I'm actually like kind of zooming around from side to side. That's me keeping the camera stationary and then zooming completely around. Oh, look at this. How you doing? It's like Exorcist. This thing's like doing like the Exorcist spin around. Hi. I'm not gonna like vomit out any green soup like Reagan did in The Exorcist. Okay, I don't know how to do a zoom in. Okay, so here's the key I'm thinking. Instead of tilting my hand up to look at this, I can use the gimbal to look up. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna get moving down the road. All right, I made it over to Target. I'm in the parking lot. So as far as the passport goes, this was it was a little difficult to get it. I made a mistake. I didn't sign the paperwork when I mailed it in. I ended up paying for express to have a quick delivery back. Expedited, that's the word I'm looking for. And then I went through all the processes of getting the money order, or the cashier's check, not money order, getting the cashier's check, going to the post office, overnighting it, doing the priority 2 or 3 day service. And then they alerted me, the government alerted me and said, you didn't sign the paperwork correctly. So I had to do that, send it in. That took a little while longer, but I finally got it. And this is needed so that I can complete one of the 30 current baseball stadiums that I am doing while rooting for the Tampa Bay Rays. If all goes well, by the end of this season, I will have done all 30 current stadiums. And after that's done, I'll have my passport for 10 years. These are good for 10 years once you renew them. And next year, won't be as much baseball. I'm still going to go to some stadiums. I'll hit certain series, and obviously there are certain stadiums that probably will change over time. I'll hit up new stadiums while the Rays are playing there. And I'll go to, if I'm in an area and they're playing, or I'll go to the Trop, or if I'll go to postseason games, or if I'm just in the hankering to go to one. But it won't be the process now we're trying to accomplish all 30 while seeing the Rays, which is a little more difficult than I had kind of set out to be, because you have to go to certain ones, and if you don't make them, then they won't be there for 2 more years. Anyway, next year, 2025, it's going to be all about international travel. I am excited. I'm excited to have this. I also think I figured out how to use the optical zoom, the digital zoom. I keep saying optical. The way an optical zoom works is it is a complete, actual, legitimate zoom. So when you have, like, you've seen the old kind of cameras that have the zoom lens, you kind of do that and it goes in on it. And then like digital cameras will have the same kind of thing, but it's more of like a button that'll go like halfway in optical zoom, and then it'll go the rest of the way digital. You're like, oh, the first halfway is crystal clear. Why is the rest so grainy when it zooms in? That rest of it sometimes will be optical zoom. So this only has the optical zoom. I figured out how to do it. Let me spin this around. Also, there's like tracking thing. I can kind of tap on the screen. So what I do is, instead of operating the gimbal, I tap on the non-gimbal, and now it says push joystick to control zoom. And now I'm zooming in like that. And that's it right there. So I can kind of like look around. I can focus on what I want to focus on. But that's as far of a zoom as you can get. And it zooms fast, wow. Way faster than the G7X zooms. But it's definitely not as good, not as clear. Let me look at the clouds over here. Oh wow, see, yeah, it's not wanting to, it's having an issue with the focus. I'm trying to look at the clouds. It says gimbal point reached. Okay, yeah, this is causing a problem. This is definitely taking some getting used to. I can't just like turn it quickly. That was weird. I need to mess around with it a little bit more. Oh, you know why? Because I didn't switch over back to the gimbal. That's why. Oh, that's as far in as I can zoom. It actually doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look too bad. Yeah, I think that's okay. But that's as far in. But look how quickly it zooms out. I like that. Then I tap it back to that. And now I can control the gimbal again. No more. Now I can't zoom unless I tap the screen and go from there. All right, going in. It's been a good majority of the morning. So I keep a schedule of where I'm going to be. You know, of course, going to stadiums, staying in hotels, different flights, what airlines I'm doing, rental car companies, everything is in a book. I've done this for the past few years, so I have like a hard book that goes month by month. And what I will do is I will write everything in there on the date. So it's basically an actual calendar that I can physically look at with my own eyes instead of having it on my phone. And I'll jot notes in the phone as well. But today, I ended up spending most of the morning booking a bunch of flights. I mean, like 7 or 8 or 9 different flights over the next month and a half, 2 months, couple months. Hotel rooms, plans, purchasing tickets to games. I have 5 plus 1, 6 stadiums left before I knock off all 30 for the end of the year. And it's a lot of travel plans. And then also D23 Expo out in Anaheim. I'm gonna be out at that. I'm also gonna be out at haunt season for Halloween. I'm also doing the Run Disney event, which I'm gonna be walking briskly. It's called the Run Disney event, but I will not be running. I know my limitations being I'll be over the age of 50 by then. I turn 50 on August 10th coming up in 30 something days, between 30 and 40 days. And who am I to think that I can just immediately, without running for decades, think that I could run 13 miles. So I'm gonna be walking it briskly and not getting timed out. So I'm gonna be doing that as well. But there's gonna be a lot of bouncing around all over the country, California, here, up north, up to all over. basically I'm leaving on Sunday or Monday at the end of this week. Let's say early next week, I'm going to be leaving for 4 days. Then I come back for about a week, 9 days. I don't know. I'm kind of hazy on the details, but by mid-July, like July 16th, 17th, 18th-ish, I will only be home from then until the end of September. From mid-July until the end of September, I'm only slated to be in Florida, in Central Florida, for 6 days. 6 days. So I'm not going to be here too much. But the good thing about that is it is preparing myself, it's preparing myself, like Popeye. Because next year, what I want to do with the international is I want to be home for like 2 weeks, and then I want to go to another country for like 3 weeks. So I want to be home like a week, gone for 2 weeks, and I want to go to another country, to another city, in another country, and I want to stay in there to a place I've never been, not necessarily really a completely touristy area, but I just want to explore and see things, and I want to kind of take that template where I'm here for 2 weeks, and then I leave, and then I could just go to another country, start knocking off all the countries, and just see what I could see, learn some things, do some things, experience things outside of the U.S. And just going to be gone most of the time. Just come back, check on the homestead, do some localized stuff, and then off again. International travels, overseas travels. Oh yeah, it is definitely much needed, and I'm pretty dang excited about it, to mix things up a little bit. I've been doing a lot of the similar type of things for so long that sometimes it just becomes muscle memory. Now the baseball thing, I started that 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago, and I'm super into it. And I really started doing that to kind of give myself another type of hobby. And I didn't realize it was going to really engulf me and take over my life in a lot of ways, because now I'm always checking the score, seeing how the Rays are doing. If I'm not listening to the game, I'm checking the game on my phone, or I'm watching the game on my TV, or if I'm out and about, I'm watching on the MLB app, or I'm at the games. I go to a lot of games. So it has definitely become a thing, but until I started doing that 3 years ago, it wasn't even a formula or it wasn't even a process in these videos, and now it's just become part of the video series, just like the international stuff. There will come a point where I'll look back at this time frame of just showing the passport and go, wow, now I'm kind of like, I'm doing international all the time. That's what I'm doing, and that's what I'm going to be doing. I can kind of pinpoint it back to this day. Let me flip this around again. I'm kind of liking this. I'm kind of liking this camera. All right, I'll see you on the outside. Yeah, it's definitely gonna take some getting used to. Yeah, the way the gimbal works. Learning curve. After using something for years, go back to. Does not go out of focus though, I will say. Does not go out of focus. So it's a lot of turning with your own arm to point at where you need to go, but then also a lot of adjusting the little directional thing on the gimbal. Now I'm going to try to go in and do the zoom. There we go. So it's got a little zoom. It's got some zoom. Again, a little grainy zoom, but zoom nonetheless. I'll take the benefits of not having the going out of focus, truthfully. Also, I've stated this before, but I'm going to reiterate. Basically, the reason for going internationally really is not going to have a whole heck of a lot to do with the theme parks. Now, I am interested in eventually at some point going to the Disney parks across the ocean, but it won't be the first thing that's on my agenda. I am interested in going to a couple of the Universal Studios parks across the country too. And there's some other wacky little theme parks too, kind of like little, call them Disney knockoff theme parks, but just some odd theme parks that are in other areas of the world. Did I say country? I meant the world. Just different countries that are across the world. But in my travels, I'll eventually make it to those places. However, that is really not what I'm most thrilled and excited about. I'm most thrilled and excited to just get out of the US, go to some places I haven't been, get out of my element, mix things up a bit, recharge my excitement for traveling. I mean, I love traveling. Sometimes when you have seen things a few times and you're just doing updates, which is always nice to do an update and, you know, you can reminisce a little bit. You have some nostalgia and to show how it is now versus how it was when you saw it, you know, a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago when you passed through an area. That's great. But I definitely have a desire to see a lot of areas that I've never seen before. And I think it could translate well to videos. Rejuvenate my excitement for travel. Never really wanted to go international until recently. In fact, I kind of denied it for a long time. I was like, well, I just love the U.S., and I do love the U.S. But I've been through all the states in the continental United States. I've been through every state in the continental United States. Some many, many times. I'm not getting any younger. None of us are. So international travel next year will not be theme park heavy. It will be just traveling heavy. And hopefully I won't be heavy. Hopefully I have lost a little bit more weight before then. It's a lot of heaviness. Just to show what I've been using for many years, and I might even go back to it. What I'm using now might not work out. I think there's something to be said about a good point and shoot, kind of like the Canon G7X. There's a lot of people I know that recommend the Sony. I think there's like a ZV or a VZ, a Sony something a lot of people recommend. So I might look into that as well, because I do like having just the actual camera. And then I put the little Manfrotto on it like that. But I'm going to try the Osmo for a little while. Osmo 3. And see what happens. But this is what I've been using for a long time. The G7X Mark II right there. And the thing about the Osmo is I believe, because I have the DJI app now on my phone, I can just take what's on, what I'm filming on the Osmo itself, the camera itself, without using one of these that I've been using for a long time. See, I wanted to like go forward, but the gimbal's kind of being weird. But I've been using this to dump into my camera roll on my phone. So I use that, and I'll dump it in the bottom of that. But I don't need to do that anymore because I could just Bluetooth it, and the footage is going to be on the app. So it'd be interesting to see how the footage looks when I upload this. But I don't think I'm going to have to use this anymore. Obviously, this is a regular SD card, and the Osmo that I'm using now, the Osmo 3, is a mini SD card. But I do have an adapter. This is just the one from yesterday's video that I filmed on the G7X. Well, that's going to do it for today. Just a little information and a little info and an announcement video. Tomorrow, I'm going to take this camera and go test it on some stuff and just see how it does out in the world doing things, and try to get some different lighting conditions and darkness and movement and things like that. I need to start utilizing it, but I think it was a pretty good first day testing this thing. I'll see you in the next video, the vlog. Oh, did I mention? I'm pretty dang excited about international. I'm really excited about it. That's next year. It's a ways off, but yeah, the vlog is over.